So here's what I think I'm going to do. I think I'm going to do the same thing I did on the other side, which is do a dual fork and do it off this center point here and bring it down. And see, now I'm starting to get flow. So it might just be that this was already maxed. And so it might just not have been allowing me to pull anything more. So this pipe should still be at 600 flow. Yep. Now this one is at just about 600 flow. And going back and forth, but now that's up and running because we're actually pulling from 6, basically maxed out double pipe flow in. That should allow that to maintain. Now, that helps. I'm still seeing some bigger drops here. So that's going to be a concern as I start to creep this up. That's going to be 360. $480. And now 600. I'd be looking to see it's staying at 40. It's not dropping down into the 30s at all, which means it's going to be sustainable. Now, next question will be, is it going to be sustainable on my buffer tower? And that buffer is still maxed. That buffer still maxed. That buffer still maxed. So the buffers aren't getting any impact at all. So that's a wonderful sign, which means it is a fully resilient system, full closed loop. And I have both of them maxed out. So this one is generating 6250 on the uranium fuel rod, and it's going through a rod every 120 seconds. I'm sorry, every 30 seconds. 0.5 per minute. Is that correct? I always get these backwards. I'm going to time it because I'm a nerd. Which is totally what it's saying. They're both saying the same thing. 120 seconds is consuming a half of a fuel rod per minute. My brain was thinking 0.5 per minute was that it was using every 30 seconds it was using one, which that's not even possible. So it's for every minute it's consuming half of a uranium fuel rod. So uranium fuel rod is burning one every 2 minutes, or every 120 seconds, it's producing 6250 megawatts of uranium. The plutonium is lasting twice as long. So for one plutonium fuel rod, it's generating the 6250 for 240 seconds, and it's producing 10 plutonium waste, so 2.5 plutonium waste per minute. So this is creating more waste. Maybe it isn't as radioactive, but there we have it. So it's not generating more power per nuclear reactor. It's just the fuel rods are more efficient and cleaner because they're producing less waste. Now, I say that, but when you figure in the cost to produce a plutonium fuel rod, that's where it gets a little wonky. Because there's all that over there, plus the train running and everything else. Like, it's not as clean as you think when you look at the total waste if I were to add it all together, which I'm totally not going to do because I'm lazy. Now, that all being said, I've added a second nuclear reactor into the mix now. Also going to see how much is in this. So we've got a full strip here of power, and I've still got 108 in the chamber there. I'm going to go grab this present message. All right, so now that we've done that and we've added that next nuclear reactor in which I could totally now potentially add a third one into the mix. And now I've got all this established. So now I could add another reactor over there much easier. And I've already got all the plumbing done. So it's not as much of a constraint to add an additional going forward. I am going to need to boost my production of some of the processing to be able to handle it. But let's take a look here at the power situation. So doing the max push of an additional nuclear reactor boosted it here to where my capacity was 25,570. And so now it's 32,346. So if that's 32,346 minus the capacity boost of the 2570 of what it was before, that's 6776 of capacity. And the production is an increase of 6968.6 plus the power boost. Okay. So the power boost also gets a little bit of a boost there. Oops. So that's the 28. I'm sorry, 29. Still growing. $29.21.9. Okay, it says getting an additional power boost on that alien power 657.3. So we're getting that in there. We have, off that max consumption. So if everything turns on simultaneously at once, that is where it will ceiling out and it will actually crash the grid. If it's below that, if the capacity production is below that, we now have a little bit of a buffer on what we can do before that really becomes an issue. So that's interesting. That's helpful. We want to have I'd like to have a little bit more of a buffer than that, but that's also why I have the battery that can kick in and run for a while too, and provide some additional support if need be. So that provides a little bit of a insurance policy, as it were. Okay. Go grab a few presents over here. Message.
Ho ho, oh whatever. Yes, yes, well done.
And away we go. Off into the wild blue yonder. I do wish while you were in the hypertube that you could access your inventory so that I could take a look at my supplies now. I'm putting the boosts in, so it's making me spend a lot less time in the hypertubes by doing those accelerators, but there we go. It's actually over in the other one. Drop those tickets off. Okay, we've got that squared. So I just have to drop off the copper roll. And these silica bags. There we go. Drop off the presents. Hello, we're coming up on the alien power augmenter, which is what's providing me that additional 2800 boost right there. For free. All right. Okay, we're at 2,000 packages now, 2020. I'm also just going to check my parts list here. I know I unlocked that holiday ornament. Is it classified as a building? Should be showing up in my recipes. Unless it's something oriented with the tree, which then wouldn't have recipes, but rather something that just gets enabled. Let's find out.
A baby could have found this.
And how dangerous that would be. Nope, I can't interact with the tree. It won't show me. It just shows me that I got it, not what it was. No fix my stuff there. We're not to that tier level yet. No fix my stuff there. That's not a bad deal right there, actually. Take that one. I don't have any on me right now. All right, Fixmas. Node not available. All right, so it's not in the recipe list. Red ornament. Oh, it was a trinket. That's why. Because I'm a dum-dum. Bling. Yeah, the overall colors are just overpowering one way or the other, and so everything else is accent color. And I like accent color, don't get me wrong, but the challenge that you run into is I want to have a little bit more mixture in the overalls. I want to get a little bit more personality in that, and so trying to find that right mixture. Exactly right. Yeah. If I want to really celebrate with the colors of the holidays, it's difficult too because it's just such an overpowering color, right? You know, I'm going to go with that. That'll work for now. That makes it kind of fun, though. I'll stick with that. But what if I flip it? Meh. We'll keep it just doing the accent green. All right. All right, so there's my little holiday ornament jingle, as it were. Cool. All right, we've been working through that. That iodine filter back on there. Let's go drop off my animal remains. I am going to add an animal remains processor at other points on the bus, but for now, this works for the animal remains depository. Boom, boom, boom. All right, the other thing I was going to check now that I've got that all deposited is I was also going to check to see if I had any of the pressure conversion cubes. I have 250. Good. So one of the things I need to make is I need to make 100 of the nuclear spaghetti. Or nuclear pasta. Nuclear spaghetti. I guess I'm hungry. Nuclear pasta. So I need to do this at the particle accelerator. I'm going to need 100 of them. And then I'm going to need the copper powder. So it's 32. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to do it this way. Edit the to-do list. This is going to be 100. Okay. So I'm going to need 20,000 copper powder. Now, to do the 20,000 copper powder, I'm going to need 120,000 copper ingot. Dang, yo. All right. That's a lot. Oofda. Okay, well, is what it is. Let's go get it done. So, copper ingot. I think I have a fairly robust supply of that. But just in case, that is a smelter with the copper ore. And then once you combine that to get to the copper powder, that is just going straight into a constructor at 50 per minute. So where is my biggest? So I've got copper right here, actually. So is it all kind of going together? Where's the best way to get the most influx? Looks like it's going to be there. Do I have copper coming from anywhere else? I think that's all filling into there as well. So that's just fitting right through. Where's that backfill coming from? So that's also coming from that same splitter. That's coming in through there. So I can probably head it off at the pass over there. Right off of that stacked constructor over there. Do I have other sources of copper coming in? I might have another source of copper coming in over here. Maybe not. That's iron. I was just kind of curious to see if I had copper being smelted anywhere else. I think this is all being ported over from the other side. I think it's just that substantive of a supply. So we can tap it off of there. Now, the interesting thing about